Hey guys, Ben Raven here for CardRunners.com. So this is going to be the second part to the mini-series that I started a couple of weeks ago. So what I'm going to do this week is going to be another hand history review. I'm going to do a mixture of hands. I'm not going to have a specific topic this week. So I'm going to have, I don't know, 10 minutes or so will be check calling, maybe 15 minutes will be check calling, and that will just include kind of defending ranges and kind of protecting our range in 3-bet pots and single raise pots. And then I've got a bunch of other hands that I'm just going to analyse, and we can go through those as well. Kind of my idea for this video is that I'm going to be a little bit less specific in every single hand like I normally am. And that's not for any particular reason. I just kind of feel that going into in-depth analysis in hands is a really good idea, but sometimes it's also good to get through multiple hands and talk a little bit more generally about the spot, and that's what I'm going to try and do today. So it might be a little bit faster than normal, but I'm going to try and get more hands in today and see how that goes. So I hope you enjoy it, and I'll move straight on to the first hand. So just before I start this first hand, I just wanted to say that my hold manager is pretty buster at the moment, including all my note caddy and stuff, so I'm using just one of the default HUDs on Holder Manager, but we're not going to need stats too much, so just letting you guys know. So we're at a 204 ring table, and we are 7-handed. It gets folded around to us in the small blind. With 9-7 suited. I think this is a really standard open against a short stacker. I'm folding to a 3-bet, but I think that our hand is far too strong to be folding, given that he's going to be folding enough in the big blind. He does make the call. His range is going to be extremely wide. I certainly feel he's going to have all of his ace-x's, all of his suited connectors, all of his king-5s, all of the kind of Broadway and low card type hands, just a massive variety of hands. We can certainly rule out nutted hands because he would be 3-betting those pre. So we flop top pair on 7-6-3 rainbow with a backdoor flush draw. So our options are to c-bet or to check. I decided to go ahead and check. I feel that this is going to be a good hand to be check calling because we're going to be wanting to check call our 6x, our pocket 4s, pocket 5s, and 3x, and also some ace highs. So I certainly like to check call this kind of hand because we block top pair particularly. If we had like an overpair, I'd probably be more inclined to c-bet because he's going to have he's going to be more likely to have a pair on the flop. So I go ahead and check. He bets 630. I can't really do anything but check call. Check raising seems a bit pointless, I'd say. I'm not sure what we would be achieving by doing that. So I just go ahead and check call. Turn comes in 8, giving us an up and down and bringing a flush draw. We check again, and we get a pretty large bet, which is in a way committing himself. But of course, there is just the argument that he's making it look like he's committing himself for a river shove, and therefore that's why he's going this sizing. Again, I don't really feel like we can fold because we now have an up and down with our pair, and he's going to have a lot of incentive to bluff this turn as well with his overs. Just because when we check all the flop, we aren't really perceived to have that many nutted hands. I suppose when we do check all the flop, in his eyes, we probably have, on this turn, our best hand is now 6-8 for 2-pair. I don't think he expects us to check 7-8 all that often. So therefore, I feel that he definitely has a great incentive to bluff or to try bluff us. So I do make the call. So there is another 6, which is interesting, and I check, and he goes ahead and shoves. So I personally, at this point in the hand, breaking down his kind of range, I don't really think he expects him to be calling 4-5 pre. I mean, he is going to call some 4-5 suiteds, but we can certainly rule out most of the 4-5 offs. So that is obviously one hand we lose to. A 6 pairing on the river doesn't really change a lot because we never expect him to we sometimes stab the flop with a 6x, fair enough, but we very, very rarely expect him to continue betting on the turn with the 6. So that kind of means that he can only really have 6-7 and 6-8, which are his two barreling hands. And then, obviously, not to mention, he can have pocket threes as well, or quad sixes, but this is such a narrow part of his range, I feel.